Okay guys, so the appointment setters that use this strategy are the ones that make £5 a month look easy, okay? And I'm saying that as someone that's done it myself, okay? I've been in this space for 2 years now. I've made multiple six figures with this model. I've worked with people like Charlie Morgan and William Brown. I've generated $1.7 million in cash for my clients, right? And I now help setters like yourself do the exact same thing. And I'm telling you right now, telling you from experience, people who use this strategy that I'm gonna give you right now in this video are the ones that make £5 a month look easy, right? And it's gonna be extremely, simple, and you're probably going to laugh when I show you it, but the whole concept and the whole strategy is tracking your damn appointments, okay? This is so important, right? None of you guys do it, and it's why a lot of you guys are broke, because you don't understand really kind of how valuable this is, or even how to do it yourself. And I don't blame you, because nobody would have taught you, right? But this is why a lot of you guys are being replaced by AI, which is a massive problem. And by the way, this whole channel is dedicated to helping you guys stay AI proof and stay high ticket, right? But it's the reason why you guys are being replaced by AI. It's the reason why you're not making the money you want to make. It's the reason why you have to keep, offer jumping or jumping offers, right? Because you can't find one that actually sticks. It's the reason why you're broke, right, as a setter. So this is super important. I'm telling you right now, this allowed me to get to £5 a month consistently with setting. It's tracking my damn appointments, and I promise you, this is so much more valuable than it sounds right now, okay? So the first stage that we're going to track is the conversation being initiated, right? We're going to track all conversations started, whether that's cold and warm. Don't let any leads slip through the Don't let any leads slip through the cracks. This is super important, okay? Any person you message, cold or warm, if they come to you or you have to go and find them, you have to track every single lead to a T on this side of the sheet, right? And actually make sure you've got all of the names tracked in there for you to be able to view. Okay, this is the foundation for all of it. You must track the conversation started. It's going to get nowhere, and this whole thing will be pointless if you don't track every single person you message, right? Now, here are some KPIs, right? And KPIs are basically like metrics that we use to see whether what we're doing is working, right? So ideally, we want to be getting a 10 to 15% PRR, which is positive reply rate, which means the rate of how many people respond positively, okay? So we're going to be able to see that by tracking the conversation initiated and then tracking them once they actually have interest acquired. So in this stage here, you might be saying to them, hey, I've got an offer for you. Let me know if you want to hear, how we can help you get more clients, or how we can help you get a six-pack, It could be like the offer, like cold pitching them, right? And ideally, we want 10 to 15% of the people that we asked that in the conversation initiated stage, right? 10 to 15%, we want them to say, yeah, cool, send me more information, right? And that is our KPI for that, 10 to 15%. And obviously, we won't be able to track that or actually gauge that if we don't actually track the first conversation initiated stage, okay? Super important. So here is where the interest is acquired. Again, we're going to track every single prospect that is interested or ask for more information. Okay, this shows us that our initial approach works and shows us if we need to make any changes and where we need to make them as well. Okay, for example, this just shows us, if we aren't hitting a 10 to 15% positive reply rate, right, then we know there's something wrong with this stage here where we're actually trying to pitch them. Okay, and this is really good at the macro level, which I'll explain shortly. But when you are trying to book appointments and you're not booking calls, you may be thinking to yourself, oh, I feel like the script we're using for the first message isn't really working. Well, you have no proof because you haven't been tracking, right? Well, here, for example, if you're in KPI, right, and people are asking for more information, then you know there's nothing wrong with your strategy so far. You know that this stage here, which obviously leads to this stage here, you know it works. It's within KPI, and you're not supposed to change it. And you can just see basically, if you did need to make a change, then you know it's to go into this stage here and actually change the variables inside there. Okay, for example, changing the script you use, changing whether you do a voice note, changing whether you do a video, changing whether you do text based. That's how we gauge it, right? Is by tracking both of these stages. Now we're gonna go one step further. This is where, for example, you start the conversation, they've asked more information, they've seen the information in the form of a VSL or a video, or just some more information about how you guys work. And then they said, cool, I want to book in a call. That sounds really good. I want to have a chat, right? So again, we're going to track that too. Track every lead that you send the calendar link to, right? And this holds you accountable for follow-ups. Okay. Now these are different stages, different parts of the sheet. Now I'll run you through the sheet shortly, right? I'll actually have a sheet to be able to give you, and I'll run you through how to get that in a second. But this is going to be stage 1 of the sheet, one section, right? Stage 2 is the second section of the sheet. Stage 3 is going to be the third section of the sheet, right? And they're all going to have conversion rates on each stage. How many people in this stage go through to that one, right? If not at least 10 to 15% people are going through, then we know we need to change something here in this first stage. And again, just like here, likewise, same thing. You know, if, for example, not 8 to 10% of people are going through to the calendar sent stage, but for example, they are going through to this stage fine, from conversation initiated to interest acquired, then we know the issue is in here, right? In the actual interest bit. So we need to change the variables of how we deliver the information. Maybe the offer's not working. Maybe you are sending it in too much of a clunky, kind of too long explanation video, right? And you wouldn't know that if you weren't tracking. You'd just see like, oh, people are asking for more information, right? But they're not booking calls. What's wrong? Is it something wrong with my script in the beginning here? I feel like my script isn't working. No, it's not that, right? You're going to see that that's in KPI, that's working, but all of a sudden randomly here, this isn't working anymore. So you know the variables that we need to change are in this section here. Okay, it's super important that you understand how to tell the difference, because otherwise you're going to be making decisions based off emotions and not off data. And that is how we succeed as an appointment setter, is making decisions based off data and not emotions. This is why a lot of you guys fail. You make decisions based on how you feel, not based on what the data says. Okay, super, super important. Hold you accountable for follow-ups. Again, in this section here, if you're tracking every single person you send a calendar to, right, and you're being paid per appointment because you're an appointment setter, right, then you know, like, I need to go hard on these leads every single day. Look, I've got them all tracked. Every single person I've sent a candidate to are in this stage here. I need to follow up with them every single day until they book, right? You can't just do this based off what you remember, or, you know, people's names. Like, oh yeah, I think so-and-so asked to book a call. Let me just go and like send the follow-up. No, you need this sheet to hold you accountable, because you're gonna leave money on the table and have leads slip through the cracks. Okay, and it also gives you a clear indication of if your approach is working, where it needs work again. Okay, for example, like I just said, if for some reason, right, nobody's booking calls, but for some reason they are going through to from this stage to this stage fine, then you know the problem isn't in the first stage, it's from this stage to this stage. So you need to go back here, right, isolate the variables, like you're sending information. Is it for a VSL? Is it for a video? Like, how are you doing it? Clearly the issue is in there somewhere. That is where our bottleneck is. That's what we need to fix. Okay, so it's really important you understand that. And again, so calendar sent, right, then they're going to go into appointment booked when they actually book in the call. So you can track every call that gets booked in. Now, this makes it easier to get paid, right? See that your approach works, and also use as leverage to land better roles. And it'll also give you the master KPI of appointment booking rate, which should be within 5 to 8% ABR, okay, which is appointment booking rate. That is the KPI, 5 to 8%, right, of the people that you actually talk to should go through to this stage here, okay? Now, this is so ideal because you can actually show to the offer owner that you're working with, like, if they try and like short you for how many appointments you're booking, I'm not saying they will, but let's say you're on an offer that did, you just say, look, no, I've tracked all of it, I've got proof, okay, and also recommend to screen record proof as well, just to keep yourself backed up, right? This is how you make it sure that you're not going to get mugged off for money, right? It's how you make sure that you see that your approach works, and also is how you make sure that you can land better roles, because if you have this tracker sheet on hand and prove that you're hitting these KPIs and you've actually booked in this many calls, people, when you say basically your previous experience working on roles and the results you've gotten, people are going to want to see proof. This is your way of showing proof, is by sharing these tracking sheets. Okay, they're going to be able to see with this tracking sheet that you booked in so many calls, because you've actually taken the time to track it, like I said, because otherwise it's just kind of your word against theirs. It's really like you have no leverage if you don't have a tracking sheet. So it's not just about making sure that you book in as many calls as possible, but if you want to land better roles down the line, you need this on hand. Okay, so super important. If that's not in 5 to 8% ADR, right, let's say you're getting into the calendar sent stage, right, then for some reason they're not booking a call, you might be thinking, oh, our offer doesn't work, they didn't like the information. No, it could be the follow-ups you're sending are too far apart, or they're too close apart, you're spamming them too much, the follow-up style that you're using is terrible, right? And here, speed to lead is going to have a massive part to play. So you can have the variables in this stage here that are going to account for why leads do and don't go into this stage as effectively, okay? So yeah, guys, that's the macro overview of what you should be doing. You should be tracking your appointments. Have a sheet that has one section for conversation initiated, one section for interest acquired, one section for calendar sent, and one section for appointment booked. Okay, and then on this sheet, you can do it on like Google Sheets, for example. You can have conversion rates from stage 1 to 2, stage 2 to 3, and stage 3 to 4. You're going to have conversion rates on that. Okay, and you're going to see with these KPIs, if they're not hitting KPIs, you're going to know which stage you need to go into and edit. Okay, that is how you can basically make $5,000 a month look easy as an appointment setter. Setters that don't track are the setters that make F all money, right? I'm not going to say the actual word because I think I might get, demonetized, right? Get fired from offers and are replaced by AI. Tracking your data is the hygiene standard for success as an appointment setter. It allows you to see what works, what isn't, and how to fix it in the form of metrics and KPIs. Without doing this, you're blind and leaving thousands on the table. This sheet is vital for your success. Drop me a follow and DM it at Aidan K Social on Instagram, right? And I'll send you the sheet that I actually used to hit $5,000 a month consistently, and a sheet that I still use to this day. Okay, because making this sheet, it's going to take you some time and you won't really know how to do it. You have to watch like a few YouTube tutorials on how to set up conversion rates between each stage. So just to save you loads of time, I want you to follow and DM me on Instagram at Aidan K Social. All of the stuff will be linked in the description, and I'll run you through, or I'll give you the sheet and a tutorial on how to use it, of basically making sure that you hit $5,000 a month of setting with this sheet that I've just said there. Okay. Now that's pretty much it for this video, guys. It's super important. I promise you, if you learn to do this the right way, you are going to print money. Okay, this is what keeps setters replaceable when they don't do this. It's super important that I share it with you guys. So that's pretty much it. I am going to leave a link in the description, because if you guys are looking to stay high ticket and AI proof as an appointment setter, not be replaced by AI, and make 3 to 5k a month look easy, the same way that I do it to this day and help several other people, there's going to be a link down below in the description running you through how I can help. Now, full transparency, that is designed to get you to book in a call so that I can try and sell you something. Full transparency, right? So if you're already sold to, don't click it. But if you're serious about making this work and you want to learn appointment setting the right way and not from gurus that haven't been doing it for very long or don't do it anymore and aren't worrying about AI, you want to learn it the right way, stay high ticket and AI proof, you want to learn the exact same strategy that I'm using to this day, book on that call and I'll run you through how I can help.